What's going on, guys? It's Jeff here, and it appears we're starting out with a good hair day, which is amazing because I showered last night and then kind of slept with my hair a mess. So I'm very surprised that we're looking fresh right now. The beard could definitely do better though. So we're gonna have to try and fix that up so we can look a little bit more presentable before work. But so we're out here, and so guys, it turns out, which is no surprise, I am not good at math, because I thought that I had more time left than I did to get ready for the show. I've been telling you all 20 weeks, which if you went by the timeline of things, that would have probably left me like 17 to 18 weeks right now. However, turns out as of yesterday, it was 14 weeks and 6 days until the show. So like 3.5 months, while that, or a little more than 3.5 months, while that seems like a lot of time, it's a lot less than I needed because I'm fat. So I talked to my coach yesterday, and he was already telling me we're going to make major changes, which I expected because, you know, the regimen he started me out at the beginning of this prep, that you could tell from what he provided me, this would not be what I'm doing the whole time. Everything was like very modest and not difficult. So he's changing things up. I'm actually still waiting to hear back from him. He's got a ton of clients, which is one disadvantage. On the plus side, he's got a lot of clients because he's very good at what he does. And people don't really talk about him enough. Blue Taylor, great guy. He's taking people from being like weak level amateurs into being able to step on the Olympia stage, which is pretty darn impressive. But you know, he like the way we think about things kind of aligns, because he's of course one of those like put in the work type of guys, and I'm down for that. I'm an X's and O's kind of guy. I think I'm a pretty chill client to have. My main prerogative when I'm interacting with a coach is that like he's gonna tell me what to do, and I'm just gonna say, okay, I'll see you in a week, and I'm gonna check back in a week later. And I like operating like that. Like, I'm not someone who, I don't need validation. I don't need his approval. And I don't need to be asking him a ton of questions through text and email every week, just because I'm someone who's very emotional and gets worked up. Because a lot of guys do that. You know, a lot of bodybuilders are big babies. You're competing in something where like you're being judged on the most personal thing you could be judged on, which is your own body. So people are very insecure and full of anxieties. So they want to like qualify themselves and receive validation from the person training them, much less the general public, because they want to feel like they're accomplished, you know, because this guy that has all the plans and the roadmaps for everyone, like he's saying I'm doing a good job, I have to be. So, and there's nothing wrong with seeking your coach's approval. I've run into this issue quite a bit with people, because in my mind, and pretty much everyone else's mind that has a good experience through coaching, the thing you want to do is take your coach's word as gospel. Ask questions when you need to broaden your understanding, but just fucking go in and put in the goddamn work. And people don't want to do that. They don't want to be someone who others have an easy time working with. And being difficult does not mean you're better at something. It just means you're being a princess about it. There's far too many of those out there. If you know, like, The problem I've run into plenty of times with coaching, because I've dabbled in it a little bit myself, and the thing about it is that the person really has to hold a deep regard for the person they hire to coach them. You have to respect them enough to want to treat their word like it's the law. And many people, they have a problem with that. And it's funny because I know those people have at least like some person in the fitness world where they just soak up every word they say and they really appreciate it. But then the people they choose to coach them are ones they don't fully respect, and it makes them less likely to listen to the advice given, which is a problem because you can't critique a coach's ability fairly if you're not doing what the fuck they told you to do. But many people do that. They get a lack of results from not listening and then blame their coach on it. Or they don't try and they blame their coach. Like the coach is supposed to do the work for them. So I run into that quite a bit with people. And it's been an issue in the past when I have people coming up to me like trying to check in, and they're, I either have to pull the truth out of them or they're doing something so far removed from the plan I've given them that I don't know why they bothered hiring me in the first place. And like a bad week is one thing, but when you from the start people are repeatedly doing this kind of shit, it's fucking annoying because it's a waste of my time and it's a waste of theirs. And it comes down to a respect issue, because it would not be a problem if they respected you enough to hold your words in a high regard. A lot of people don't, though, so you can't do much about that. And the problem is, it's not just like the snobby general population client that just wants like to get in good shape for lifestyle purposes. Like, it's also professional bodybuilders who think they know better, and they have an ego because they may be somewhat good at what they do. So they're actually a lot more reluctant to wanting to change because they've already gotten success doing what they've been doing, but it's not enough. So they're in like this weird mental paradox with themselves where they need to get better than what they've been, but they don't want to do anything besides what they've been doing their whole damn time lifting. So it's very frustrating as someone trying to be the arbiter of advice for individuals. But I mean, at the end of the day, you can't put in the work for someone else. It'd be nice if you could, because like me personally, I get kind of attached to clients. It's been an issue. This is obviously, as you guys can tell from my other videos, it's not my full-time job. It's like a small fraction of my total income I get from trying to coach other individuals. So I don't, I'm not relying on having to generate clients and retain them and keep them over and over. It's generally something I just do for fun. And I think that gives me an advantage because I can turn people down and not accept them, or I could steer them in a different direction. And I can really make sure I try and pick individuals with a better mindset on them, which I did not do that at first because I was excited to be training people. But then I had a big string of individuals that mess around too much, and they got upset with me about their lack of results. And I can't do much for that. Honestly, that's a bit more confrontational in your face, but I guess an equally frustrating thing in a different way would be guys like checking into you, but then they're lying about like if they followed your plan or not. Because you can tell that, like, based on what happened over the past week, they definitely did not follow the plan. But you don't know to what degree. And you have to try and, like, pull it out of them. It's annoying. And I don't know why guys do that. I mean, I kind of know why. Like, part of it's embarrassment. They feel a little bit of shame for not listening, but they check in and act like everything's fine. Like, I had a guy before, he talked this big game, he's going to get in great shape. Guy's an alcoholic, and eats a bunch of shit food because he's drinking, and that lowers his inhibition to want to control himself. So, I have this guy eating like 2,000 calories, and I got him doing 40 minutes of cardio a day, and he's going to check into me, and he's going to tell, oh, God, the sprinkler. Oh, I did. And he's going to check into me the next week and tell me he gained a pound. Absolutely not. And he's eating like chicken and rice and fish and rice and stuff for the meal volume, protein shakes, oatmeal, cream of rice, egg whites, things that, like, there's no mistake here. He did not follow the plan, because anyone else out there that weighs like 250 pounds, which is what he weighed, and I have them eating 2,000 calories and doing 40 minutes of cardio a day, and they've been lifting for a lot of years, there's no fucking way they're not losing weight. This is the kind of stuff you got to deal with, and you're doing that just in the pursuit of trying to find someone who does listen and does get something quality out of what you're trying to provide, because those are the most rewarding people, and it's the most enjoyable. Because when you take a look at someone, you kind of have a mental image about what they would look like when they're in shape, but it's hard to find people that'll put in the work to get there. So when you see the vision kind of come together from someone actually putting in the work, it's a very rewarding process. And I've only had 2 of those kinds of people out of over 50 clients, which honestly, that's a pretty good percentage rate, because you would already assume a very small amount of the population is going to do whatever it takes. So 2 out of 50, not surprising. But the annoying part is the other 48 people, I think they've even convinced themselves that they're like those 2 people that are going to put in the work, and they bullshit you and give you long ass stories about how they're going to achieve this and that, and then they don't even really get their feet off the ground at all. They like barely put in the effort before they quit, after giving all these heartfelt, page-long messages to you and all this. It's a good indicator someone's going to quit if they do stuff like that. Because honestly, the people that get the most done, they might scarcely talk about being a hard worker or being dedicated, but they're just kind of showing it through action. That's what they're doing the entire time. They don't have to try and convince people that they're dedicated to something. They just do it, and they don't care. Those are the people that get shit done. The ones that like convince themselves they're one of those kinds of people, but they're really not. It's annoying because you have to kind of watch that false belief crumble around them as they proceed to not put in the effort they said they would. But honestly, those kinds of people end up like rationalizing and justifying whatever lack of effort in one area of their life or another. So they end up just repeating the same cycle over and over. And there's a lot like that. And if they operate like that and they're a very disgruntled person, it makes for a frustrating time. But on the flip side, I guess you kind of have to filter through those individuals to find the 2 out of 50 that are, or 1 out of 25 if you want to be like that, but to find those kinds of people that'll actually make the process rewarding for themselves and me as well. So that's kind of where I keep my small little glimmer of optimism in me. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go in and get ready for work. As you can see, we got a lot of weight to cut, and we got less than 15 weeks to do so. So let's get to it.